With the advent of PhD being mandatory, it has become of paramount importance that usually students who have just finished their masters, they go for PhD. But if the accommodation is not right, then it causes a lot of mental frustration and depression and anxiety. Specifically because research is a really creative career, and if the place where you stay is not right, then it tends to cause little bit of uneasiness. Hello, this is Atya here, and my channel is about PhD, motivation and productivity. I've stayed as a hostelite for rent, as PG in different parts of the country, and this video sums up my experience of this whole journey. Sometimes the accommodation is provided in the form of hostel within the campus. Sometimes students' homes or houses are nearby so that you don't have to look for accommodation. This video will cater to those students who are looking for rent accommodation, maybe outside their institute premises. The first factor, and which is of paramount importance, is budget. Okay, obviously this forms the basis of what you are looking for. I think as far as our fellowship goes of PhD students in India, 1/3 or 1/4 of the fellowship salary can go for rent. Now that will depend on your personality and your lifestyle, but roughly I think that can be the case. Second thing, how are the bills shared? Okay, the water bill, electricity bill. Sometimes you have a separate meter for your own apartment, and sometimes what happens, there is a single meter and all the tenants occupying different flats or different positions in the apartment, the bill is divided into all, so that you need to take into consideration. Also, whether water is available for 24/7. Okay, and even if it is not available, if you know in advance what are the hours for water availability, then obviously you can plan your errands in advance. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to take into consideration, that anybody needs to take into consideration when they are looking for accommodation. It is also important to understand the facility of garbage collection, or your whole apartment would be littered with all the waste and nobody will come to collect it. The days on which the garbage collection is done, okay, and what are the charges for it, how much are you going to contribute, that information needs to be there beforehand. Sometimes societies charge a maintenance charge which is separate than the rent that you pay. This information is also required. Then, as far as legal matters go, usually the contract is made for around 11 months and then it is renewed, or it is not renewed depending on your wish. So it is necessary to get clear on the terms of contract as well. Once the major chunk of your headache, that is budget, is settled down, next is whether you need to share your apartment with others or you have to stay alone, and I will give you the pros and cons of both. When you share the apartment, obviously the bills and the overhead cost, that also gets shared. Then you get somebody to speak to, you can discuss the matters. Okay, so these are, and you can take help if there is anything. Everything does not come on you. Secondly, if you have to stay alone, then if somebody needs their own space, like research is a creative career, and if somebody needs their own space, then one option could be to stay alone. Okay, you might have and when I say stay alone, you are alone only in that apartment, but there could be several other apartments which are close to you, so the problem of company and all gets kind of sorted. Okay, it also helps with thinking clearly, and the clarity also improves of mind. So these are some of the things that need to be considered. What kind of person are you? Majorly it depends on that. Okay, like if you are somebody like me, introverted, then it is best to move into your own zone, or on sharing basis, whatever is preferable to each person, each to its own. Then also when you live alone, your sleep schedule gets unaffected. You can eat eat whenever you like. Okay, so that freedom is there. I remember once when I was doing masters, for a brief span of time I had a partner in my hostel room. So what she used to do is, her study timings were very early in the morning, whereas I used to study little later. So the timings used to get clashed, and then the both of our sleep disturbances used to happen. So these are things that can happen. Okay, of course, if you have an apartment, there could be separate rooms. That is also there. The next point is, how is the locality? Okay, how far is the locality from the institute? Will you require a vehicle? Is there a public transport? Because if, say, suppose it is a wet lab work, okay, like mine, then when we finish late, I am not going to travel 10-12 kilometers to reach to my place. So that proximity needs to be there for any research scholar, for that matter, even for dry lab work, for a discussion with supervisor, or for any kind of work to the institute. The institute and your location needs to be very close. So how far is the area from marketplace? Are there shops nearby? That also is a factor. Safety is an important concern for everyone, and especially for single women. Installing grills, and whether the locality is safe and secure, that you sometimes get to know by speaking to the neighbors. So before moving in, it is a good idea to speak to one or two people in the same locality to know, to get a general idea, and to check all the possible security loopholes. Now, third thing is number of rooms and floor. There are several 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK. Then there are studio flats which are like one room kitchens. Okay, so what kind of accommodation you choose, that depends on your lifestyle and your preferences. Also, to take into consideration one thing, that higher floors like third or fourth floor tend to get hotter in the summer season. Of course, depending on which area you live, but generally they tend to get the temperature increases. So depending on that, you might need an AC or something of that, depending on how furnished or unfurnished the flat is. PhD scholars are adults, okay, so we don't require any night curfew and all, but still, on the nth moment, the owner should not make any problem. So it is better to be clear about the in timings. Even if it is an apartment, even if it is a 3 BHK flat, it is important that you need to get these things clear beforehand, whatever it is, whether it is in your favor or it is not in your favor. Are you a fitness freak? Does being around greenery activate your creative juices? What kind of workouts you like, indoor or outdoor? And if it is outdoor, then is the environment conducive for it? So that also you need to check if fitness is a priority for you, because you don't want to step out for a run and see so many animals running after you. Okay, so that also need to be taken into consideration. Or if the place is just near the main road where there are no internal roads, so that also you need to take into consideration. And the last and not the least, and I say the most important parameter, is the owner. Okay, all these points that we have discussed need to be discussed beforehand with the owner. I've stayed in places where the owner was vegetarian and he expected his tenants also to be vegetarian till the period they are living into his apartments. Okay, that can be really annoying. So these are small things, but then they add to the irritation of any PhD student for that matter. Second, if there are any leakages or anything, sometimes the owner will say that once you move in I will get it repaired, but then you take it from me, it will never get repaired. So if there are any repairs or anything, get them done before the contract is signed. Okay, and if they say that they will get it repaired later, you can assume that it will never happen. So that is one point that needs to be taken into consideration. And also the thing is, more from body language and all these things, just by observing you get to know, you get to notice so many things. So being aware and being observant of the body language of people, and just being observant helps in gaining several answers. This is my personal opinion, and this has helped me a lot in how to find the right accommodation outside your institute. Okay. And finding any accommodation for that matter, all these points will definitely help. And the bottom line is, if the place where you stay is not relaxing, because if it is a wet lab work, you will be working. Mostly wet lab work is standing work only, you don't get time to sit. And even if it is a dry lab work, more so you will need the accommodation to relax, to work, and these needs need to be taken care of. And as I've said in the beginning also, research is a creative career, and creativity, there is a lot of tension and all, it does not, you don't feel like working. So these things can help anyone in finding the right accommodation that suits your needs and also that helps you with the work. Thank you.